mic, or do we pass that? This one's fine? Okay, cool, good deal. All right, it got quiet, so I guess that means we can talk. Don't need this or do? No? Good. Talking to mics all day. All right, great. Good afternoon to you all. We're very glad you guys are here. Obviously, as part of the Social Media Week, which is a fantastic opportunity for you all. I will tell you now, this is a motto we live by downstairs at WUTK at the radio station. I tell my students, and I will tell you this, and I really stress this today, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Nobody is going to sit there and go, can't believe they asked that. We want you to ask those dumb questions. If you think you're asking dumb questions, wait till you hear some I ask. I mean, I'm the radio guy, you know. I dabble in social media, but I was excited when I was asked to do this because not only does AC Entertainment hold a place near and dear to my heart. I worked there for about 7.5 years, from mid-90s to early 2000s. But it also allows me to learn, too. You're always learning. You know, never quit learning. That's a big thing. And especially with social media, my gosh, as much as it changes and transforms and, you know, I guess moves forward in most ways, I guess, or some ways it moves back. It's just always something you have to learn. And so that's what we're here to do today. So again, I just encourage you all to ask those questions. Ask the dumb questions, ask the smart questions, whatever. The last thing we want you to do is to walk out of here today after the session's over and go, I should have asked that. You know, I should have asked that. So I tell high school students who come through the radio station WTK and tour, I tell them the same thing. I tell their parents the same thing. You know, you get ready to make a big decision. We want to give you all the answers you need to make the right decision. And, you know, with social media, a lot of that is true too, because there's still so much of the unknown. So kind of keep that in mind as we roll along. I'm Benny Smith, the General Manager and Program Director of your student radio station, 90.3 The Rock, award-winning student radio station. We do some social media. We're getting ready to do more as we literally create those positions and make them student positions down at the station. We started with a blog that our music department started, I guess, about a year or two ago, wasn't it? Incredibly successful, and it was especially successful because it allowed students other opportunities other than just on-the-air broadcasting. It allowed our music department to really spread their wings a little bit and do writing and get creative with that, but also to interview bands before they come to town, and then get an opportunity to go to the show and then do a review of the concert or even go blog from a festival or things like that. You know, it's such an ever-growing, ever-expanding deal. And so we do that downstairs, and as I said, we're getting ready to do even more as we create those positions for the students and try to create a learning environment down there to where you can walk out of there knowing more than you did before you walked in. And that's our main goal down there. These guys and gals and folks all do it for a living, except you're still intern, Luna, is that right? So maybe we'll be doing it for a living someday. But obviously they're from one of the most successful concert promotion and production companies in the world now. As I said, when I started at AC Entertainment in '95, I'd done some stuff before then with them. They were just expanding outside of Knoxville into markets like Greenville and Asheville, Birmingham, Durham, Greensboro, Louisville even. And so they were really just kind of getting the traction outside of Knoxville. Now, it's unbelievable. All you have to do is just go to the website and see where they are. Festivals, venues throughout the Southeast and otherwise, curating other things. You know, it's an amazing situation you have right here in Knoxville. I mean, that's the great part about it. I've known Ashley for many years. He is the AC, Ashley Capps at AC Entertainment. And to see the hard work and to know what he's put in and all the others put in, not just in the past, but over there daily, and to see how that company is growing. And he chose to stay here in Knoxville. They have an Nashville office. Do you have an Asheville office too? Or
We don't have
okay.
Nashville.
They do have a Nashville office. So they've grown incredibly. And obviously a little camp out called Bonnaroo helped that. I actually stepped down from AC Entertainment the first year of Bonnaroo. I worked the first two festivals up to Bonnaroo that were the precursors, where we did a lot of things wrong and learned a lot of things. Yeah. And so I would have probably gone postal if I'd have had to work Bonnaroo. But actually I was getting married and some other things were happening in my life, so I was able to step away and literally get back into radio too. But it was a great opportunity to learn. Back then, I did a lot of marketing, And marketing back then for concerts consisted of calling radio stations, putting in radio buys, and calling print media like your weekly alternative paper or maybe your daily from time to time, and literally placing print ad buys. That was really about it. Maybe making some promotions with your radio station for like a meet and greet or something like that. And it was still a lot of work, and you had to connect the dots, and you had to spend your money wisely and effectively. Now, social media is the deal. Especially in entertainment and concert promotion, I would think. So let me first, I guess, introduce our esteemed panel, who's really, really going to have a lot of great information, and I hope that I'm doing little talking, and they're doing most of the talking because they're the experts, and I hope you guys do the talking. Again, I want to hear the questions from you guys and input from you all, because it's information from this session that's going to help you get that first job possibly, or maybe help create a clearer career path for you. Because when you get out of here and you get that sheepskin and you start your job, the last thing you want to do is hate going to work every day. You want to love it. And so there might be something you hear here today that you think, okay, I would love to do that. That's an angle that I would like to think about doing that I've never thought about before. So the only way you're going to find out is asking questions. All right, so again, I encourage you to do that. So what I will do, we have Emily Herenza, as well as Luna Brewer and Rhett Talbert from AC Entertainment. So I guess we'll start with you, Rhett. If you'll introduce yourself, other than what I just did, and just tell folks what you do at AC Entertainment so we can kind of set the table for them and move forward.
Sure. Okay, my name is Rhett Talbert. Why am I so nervous? Okay, so I have been at AC Entertainment for about 3.5 years, and since I started, I have worked in the festival world and the venue world, but my mainstay is working at the Scripps Theater and the Mill and Mine, and then we also have branches in Chattanooga. We work at Bijou, all that. So my day-to-day is handling all socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, beyond, and newsletters and website maintenance. So I'm really the digital voice of about 5 entities. Yeah. Do I need to go in beyond?
That's a good
Good
yeah.
kickoff?
It's pretty good for somebody so nervous. Luna!
That's me. I'm Luna Brewer. I'm an intern at AC. I just started this past semester and it's been amazing. Essentially, I do a lot of work on the socials, mostly for like the Bijou, the Signal, Tennessee Theater. Also get to do event posts on various pages. I do a lot of help of just whatever needs to be done. I'm getting to do some market research stuff. It's really awesome.
Yeah, Luna's crucial to helping. She's a great voice with writing. That's, I guess, great for her work with WTK and the music blog she really kicked off. And it helps us in a huge way with just writing and being the voice. She's great with the Bijou artists. And a big thing too, on top of the shows that I handle and the festivals that Emily handles, we've got entire branches that write stuff and do contests with the Orange Peel in Asheville and Kentucky and Birmingham, like you said. We've got shows all over the Southeast, and Luna's a big help with researching and helping connect in the communities all around.
Cool. I'm Emily, and I handle all the festival properties. So Bonnaroo, Highwater, Fort Castle, Moon River. I think I counted this morning, and I've worked and dabbled in some way in over 10 festivals in the Southeast since I started at AC. Actually a UT graduate. I graduated in 2014. Interned at AC my junior year. They asked me to come back my senior year, and then I got hired out of that. So as where Rhett does the day-to-day social media, I'm more of an overall digital strategy, so website, app. I oversee the team that does digital for the festivals because it is a different beast than venues, but that's my day-to-day too.
Yeah.
Cool.
A big thing for comparing me and Emily's lives, with venues, it's announce a show, announce a show, announce a show, announce a show. You're constantly fighting shows, whereas Emily gets the grand introduction of the festival and the ticket sales and announcing all the cool things it'll be. So it's much more a campaign.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm trying to, I guess, create a community in each little city of this is what the Mill and Mine feels like. This is the magic of the Tennessee Theater kind of thing. Right.
Cool. Do you know how many employees ACA Entertainment has now between Nashville and Knoxville? Any
50
guess?
plus? I want to say around 80 with our venues too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when I was there, we had 8. and now
Oh,
you're at
wow.
80, and now you're at 80.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
so it kind
yeah.
of shows you, and you're in so many different markets and,
Mhm.
doing so many different things now. Obviously venue management as well, which is very
Huge.
important too.
Like all the staff at the Tennessee Theater and the Music Theater is AC Entertainment employees. So we're from top to bottom, when a show is announced to when you walk in the door, that's us.
And we were acquired by Live Nation, so
Mhm.
that added a whole
Whole new
thing.
element, yeah.
I'm gonna ask something, you guys mainly deal social media promotion then? Who, do you have and I would think this is part of your social media because it obviously deals with the commerce and your revenue streams. How about ticketing? Do you guys, I mean,
It's our
obviously
best
you
friend.
promote it, but I mean, anymore, that seems embedded with promotion.
Oh,
You go to
I
a
am
website,
A
so talk about
huge
that.
part of me is customer service. It's a big, probably the biggest part of social media is just connecting with people and knowing I'm not just a robot here, I'm not just Ticketmaster. It's a big thing, although Ticketmaster is our ticket person, we wanna make sure everyone knows, like, hey, if you're having a frustrating time with scalpers or whatever, call us, come physically to our box office, message us on Facebook, whatever, like, we're here, so.
So you handle that part of it too. I mean, Ticketmaster actually handles the selling, but the customer interaction.
So
is-
we have an amazing team both in Chattanooga and everywhere, and then we have partners with all the festivals. But so we can help and we can guide pretty much, and if you're having an issue, we know the different things that can, we've got like a protocol basically.
Yeah,
Sure.
we do stay really in tune with our ticketing team and all different silos of the company. It's very
Oh, yeah.
much a collaborative effort. So I know like with social media, we're very much talking to our ticketing team all the time to create urgency messages, tell the story of each show. It's not like we're our own little silo, like we're very much
Oh, yeah.
in tune with sponsorship, production, ticketing,
Yeah.
Cool.
everything.
Where to get where you are now, you had to start somewhere, and that's important. You guys are all getting ready to start wherever you're headed. Rhett, tell us, how did you get started in this business, or did it just find you?
Well, I am from South Carolina. I went to USC, and there, like y'all, I was a college radio kid. I was music director at WSC FM and HD1 Columbia for 2.5 years. I loved it. Working with the labels was huge. A big motivator for me is I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and I fell in love with music and my community. Didn't really have a music scene at all, so I was a little internet kid. And I know for y'all that's like really easy, but back when I was a kid, I was like on stupid startup blogs on MySpace, learning that stuff. So my big motivator is making sure every little kid can connect with a band or connect with music, just helping those people fall in love with music. And so it was such a big drive for me. So I have a degree in marketing and a minor in fine arts photography that I use all the time. And basically, I worked at an advertising agency. I was super hungry. From starting an advertising agency, I actually did graphic design for 3 years. I worked with, and it was really cool because it actually worked with big movie businesses and also ESPN and like weird clients like that. That was great for my portfolio. And I just kind of learned branding and how to be a voice across the board, how to make it follow through from social media to your website, to your physical materials, make a brand really all the way through and have a voice really solid. So from there, that advertising agency expanded to Charleston, and from Charleston, I just emailed info@AC Entertainment, and one of my good friends now emailed me out of nowhere, called me Virginia, my first name, and we set up, and it was truly fate. It was pretty wild. I'm actually one of like 3 employees at AC Entertainment that didn't intern, so I really got lucky. But yeah, and that's kind of my experience with that, and my passion for pulling that brand across the board, I think was a big factor.
How long have you been there?
3.5 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. What do you think of Knoxville?
Honestly,
Since you're the local kind of social media.
I felt, and that was a big thing. A lot of people were jaded of the BU and the Tennessee and they kept on running into people not loving those voices. And, you walk into the Tennessee Theater for the first time and you're just like, how does this exist in this small town? Like, it's this amazing feeling. And that was a big thing for me. And I was lucky, I actually got an apartment in Maplehurst. So I lived downtown for 2.5 years and just fell in love with bigness in the smallness, I guess, like everyone knowing everybody and being part of the energy of just right there, which was something that I really enjoyed. Moving from Charleston, it was a big shift, but moving honestly into a bigger music scene and a more passionate scene. That was my big thing about moving to Knoxville, moving to Tennessee. In South Carolina and other states, music isn't part of the ratio, but when I moved here, I was going to shows where there was 14-year-olds trying to get in the door and also like 65-year-olds trying to get in the door. And that blew my mind. I don't know, I think my parents have gone to like a show a year, and here it's like everyone's going to shows constantly, even if it's at like bars and like nightlife. Music is in Tennessee, and I know that sounds cliche to people that are in Tennessee, but that's incredible from somebody from outside of Tennessee.
Does that make your job easier?
Oh, yeah. And people want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And will correct me if I say something wrong.
Lynn, I'm going to come back to you. Let's hear from Emily. How did you get started in this business? What drew you, or did it come to you?
Yeah, so I started interning in 2013, like I said. I think I got into it because I went to Bonner one time, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Found out that Ashley actually had a company here, and that Bonner was based out of Knoxville. So I actually interviewed for 3 different positions, didn't get any of them. Ended up doing it again, and they transferred me from sponsorship to marketing. For an interview there, they told me that I was too young, so I ended up going back again the next year. Don't give up. Footnotes. And ended up getting a position with the marketing department as an intern there. So I started off on the venue side, working for my now boss, actually, still there. Then I left first semester, and then they asked me to come back, so I came back, and then I graduated in May of 2014, and then didn't have a position available right at the time, so I ran some shows. I was an artist runner, basically just getting artists what they need, and working with the production staff, so that was a really good insight into that side of the company too, and the business, which I was not familiar with. And then I ended up getting a full-time position that September, starting off in the venue world and the digital marketing side, mostly just doing paid ads directly, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and kind of just worked my way up from there since then. So I'm a Knoxville native. It was always ingrained in me. As Rhett said, music in Tennessee, it sounds really cliche, but it's so ingrained in the culture here. Dolly Parton, Elvis, like everything. So just working my way up there, and yeah, starting there.
Did you hear her say she didn't give up? I mean, that's so key. We call that at the station, we call that professional persistence. And there's a way to do it without being, doing it the wrong way. She was perfectly right about that. She found other avenues. You want to ask, you basically want to say, I'll do just about anything that you need me to do. But a place like AC Entertainment is a great example of, they may not have a spot for you now, but don't let that drive you out. Don't give up. Be professionally persistent. Go back, but be professional about it to know that they know that you're passionate and you want to be there. That's a big deal. How many of you guys have been to Bonnaroo? Raise your hands. Cool. All right. How many want to go to Bonnaroo?
There we go.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Well, that is too. Luna was very special. Luna and Quinn's walking around here somewhere to, I think work study actually, weren't you? Work study students for us at WUTK did a fantastic job, especially helping edit the blog, writing copy, which is basically writing the underwriting announcements and liners that we did, other social media aspects. I love hanging on to students at WUTK, but sometimes you're like, you go try this elsewhere because you've done so well here. Go get your feet wet elsewhere. And she's a great example. Luna's a great example of, I'd love to have Luna back at WUTK any day. Quinn too, but they're so talented at what they do that I was like, go through this door and try this or try this. So how's that worked out? Tell everybody how your internship, how you got it, and how that's worked out, what you're doing.
Well, as the electronic co-director, everyone in the music department is talking about what are we going to do next? What are some good internships that we could do related to the field that we do that's still so ingrained in music and our interests, but is also a great and awesome work environment where people are friendly, but you still get that hard experience that you need. And so you actually told us about how AC does internships, and they usually worked at WTK. And so,
Sorry.
Marie actually interned the semester before me and told me we were messaging on Facebook about how great it was and the things that she has to do there. And I knew that that was something that I really wanted to try out. So I came to you about it. I got Rhett's email. I put in an application. I was super nervous. But I mean, I'm so happy that I'm here. It's a type of experience that you can't really get many other places. There's the connection to the music, the connection with the venues, trying to cultivate this community through social media posts, where you don't get as many characters as you would like to get to say what you need to say. No. But you find ways, creative ways to say all the key information that you want people to know while still having a voice for each of the different venues. And that's something that I don't think I could be able to do if I didn't do it for WTK.
Cool. Internships are just, we can't push them enough. Even a practicum at WTK. Number one, you need that practical experience, but what I tell my students, this is a great example for Luna going over to AC Entertainment. You find out whether you don't want to do this as well. Because it's not about, it's not always about what you read about in the book in your classroom. You've got to test your own self inside those situations, whether it's a WDK, AC Entertainment, or wherever. Because if you graduate and you get out and you didn't get any of that experience, and then you get in a job and you're like, this is nothing like I thought it was going to be, you got to go back and start all over again in liberal arts or something, So be sure to do it. I'm so proud of what Luna's done there. And I think we have 3, 4, maybe even 5 full-time employees at AC from our music department. And that's just a great opportunity there that they take advantage of, and I hope that you guys do the same. All right, now let's get down to some nitty gritty. Let's talk about social media. We'll start small, if that's okay, I guess, with Rhett. So Rhett, I don't even know if you guys know, is there a typical annual budget for social media for AC Entertainment?
That is a 2-split thing. So with venues, it's show budget is show budget, and that's it. So the organic stuff, and that's a big part of me. Organic is free, and that's what.
What are
get.
examples of?
Our newsletter list is a huge part of it, which we're always encouraging people to sign up for pre-sale codes, whatever, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and
Yeah, you just like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just the stuff that's not paid.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just posts, basically.
Right, and then the pay will come out of the show budget.
Post, but then also, the most successful thing that I do that gets everyone's attention is posting in Facebook events, because that's just that little, someone posted in this, and everyone will check it out and see. So that's perfect for low ticket warnings if someone drops a new music video, just to engage and get people excited about that show.
Yeah, we just posted or shared the Big Ears Festival low ticket warning this week as well. Congratulations, which is great. Tell us then, basically you've got a show coming up at the Scripps Theater, probably $50 to $75 ticket price. Give us an example of the budget, ballpark budget set, and where you would go.
That's not me. That's not me, unfortunately.
It can be anywhere from a couple $1,000s to Broadway shows.
Oh yeah,
6
Broadway,
figures,
like
yeah.
Book of Mormon, it's a lot of
So
money,
would
because
they-
we're
would
doing
they then-
TV and,
The marketing director would come to you though for the social media part and go,
Absolutely.
you've got X amount of dollars, go spend it, or are they saying, get as much free as you can?
Oh, it's like a complete strategy to break down per show, like the Book of Mormon. You're spreading your budget across a lot of digital ads, a lot of video stuff. You're experimenting with what works. And then also you're taking a huge chunk of that budget and spending it on your traditional media, your TV buys, your billboards, all that kind of stuff. What is the festival budgets?
I mean,
What does that even look
it's,
like?
it's mind-boggling. It's basically my boss gives me a budget. I separate. He does all the out-of-home and traditional TV, radio, print, billboard, and then I'm responsible for all the digital stuff. So paid, Facebook ads, Instagram,
Your Google ads, all that.
yeah, anything paid on the internet that you see would be me and my team. So we kind of just divide it up that way, and more festivals and venues too. People are looking to the internet to see shows. People aren't really reading the newspaper as much, or unfortunately, or anything like that. So, just, it's becoming more and more of a digital field, I would say.
And that's the fun part too. It's so brand new that our team is constantly testing and trying out new things like Insta story ads,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I think it's really fun to figure out what's working and how everything's evolving.
Right, and it's a very collaborative effort. Like, right, everything that she does is
Yeah.
organic and doesn't cost us any money, but I can look at what she's doing and be like, we should do more of this on the paid side to get that reach out there and get the people that would care about it in front of their eyes without necessarily going to each venue page or each festival page every single
Yeah,
day.
and it's not all dark posts. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're going in and looking at what was successful organically and just throwing $50 at it and seeing where it goes.
Yeah,
And that's a huge thing also for not only just paid show, like actual ticket sales, but also when we work at the Bijou in the Tennessee, we're representing a nonprofit organization, the same with Big Ears. You're pushing people to try to be a part of it and donate to it and love it and embrace it. So you're throwing money behind a cool video that we created for behind the Tennessee Theater, like someone just doing something cool, preserving the history of it. So you're just we're constantly trying to tell the story of bringing awareness and about not just what shows are coming or our artists are coming, but just the venue itself and making the community proud of it and wanting to like love it and be there.
yeah, exactly.
When I see a band sharing their show page, do they just do that, or is that a collaborative effort?
That's us.
You
It's
guys
very
do
much
that?
collaborative, yeah.
So-
We'll get some artists that'll do it out of their own will, but usually we're getting them to post it and we'll put money behind it to reach their audience, which will in turn get them back into our funnel, because when someone clicks on a link from an artist or something, we can retarget them and get our ads in front of them
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
That's another cool thing with using something like Ticketmaster. You're able to catch that data of the previous ticket buyers, the last time that band was in town at that theater, and then literally putting that information
Yeah.
and boosting to those people or people that look like those people.
Yeah. If you see an ad to one of our festivals, it's probably not by coincidence.
It's a
We
believer.
probably got to at some point, so, yeah.
But yeah.
Have you ever had any bands who have been like, no, we don't wanna share
Oh,
this?
every day,
Oh, yeah.
every day,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
What are their objections and why?
Just being really protective of their brand. I think you can respect that. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, their
That's frustrating,
voice
but-
is bigger than just their small stops. I'm sure they're putting money behind tours and all of that stuff.
Some of them are worried about it not looking good on their personal brand
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
whatever reason. It just depends. I would say more so everyone's willing to collaborate than they are
Oh,
when they
yeah.
aren't,
Yeah.
but there are definitely some artists out there that are known for.
does band management have to sign off on your social media
Absolutely.
before you set it out there?
I mean,
Artist
day-to-day.
management.
When it's on the artist page, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we're posting from the band, absolutely. And
Cool.
but there's some situations when it comes to Broadway, like I said, every post has been signed off 100%. The littlest, the Book of Mormon doesn't like exclamation points. You can't do it.
Yeah, I remember those Broadway
No
media
emojis.
plans.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Broadway's
gosh,
a
it's a whole
beast.
nother monster. Has anybody got any questions, interjections, anything you wanna ask or find out at this point? 'Cause yes, sir.
So is all of the production, like video and
Yeah.
can y'all
Go ahead.
production done in-house? So do y'all have teams that do that? Do you outsource that to other companies?
So we have amazing partners and amazing photography team that we work with. We work really closely with Lock and Key here.
Mhm.
I highly suggest if you are into media in any capacity, try to get an internship there. They're amazing.
Yeah.
They work really closely with Emily with all of the video stuff, the festivals. And then we have really close relationships with photographers here in town and in local areas that I pull at venues all across, and then we pull them into festival world too, because they're super valuable. And a lot of them we've had from the bottom, from like 3-4
They
years
just shot us
ago.
an email and with their portfolio, and we're like, look at this. I mean, they'll
Super impressed, yeah.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, that's how it starts. If you love photography and you wanna get better, email us.
and
we-
music, yeah, make the connection.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's how we started our festival photography team. It was somebody trying to shoot the Mill Mine, and we were like, dude, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
You pull them on to Big Ears, and then from Big Ears, our entire festival team was like, whoa, this picture's incredible, and then you get them at Bonnaroo. Like
Yeah.
it's all a process of building that relationship from one part of the company across the board, where everyone knows who you are because of how talented you are.
Yeah, and your were talking about production too, in terms of like sound, lighting, everything like that. We have an internal team. The venues each have their own team there, and then we have a team in our Nashville office that does the day-to-day. We outsource like stage managers and stuff like that, but in terms of, like art, A&R, everything, like we have,
sponsorship, all that.
we have teams that do production specifically.
So you've got a little bit of a mix then. You have some contracted work like Lock and Key. By
Yeah.
the way, if you look at Lock and Key, it's Lock, it's L-O-C-H. by the
Yeah.
way.
Like
They
a
do
Lock and Lock.
incredible work. Just go look at what they've done.
Agreed.
And they're growing. I mean, they're
Oh,
growing
yeah.
as well. But you do have in-house graphics. I mean, Ian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Ian's our IT guy.
Ian's
He's
your
the best
IT
at
guy
posting
now,
things.
yeah.
We've got a
He's
huge
the real
archive.
deal.
We have a huge archive of his work. But
Yeah.
no, we have an amazing graphic design team. There's graphic design internships open too every semester. And they are solid. They're great.
Yeah.
And it's constantly, keep an eye on the branding, because we're really proud of all the branding for our festivals. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. Anybody got anything else? Want to ask another one? Yes, sir.
So, continuing down that stream, do you get much, continuing down that stream, do you get much content from the artists themselves? Or do you have to
Absolutely.
create that, or how do you get content from the artists?
So bands are constantly promoting themselves, so a big awesome thing that they do, if it's a good band, they'll be sending us stuff that, like, hey, here's a list of all the news articles we were in last week, share all of that. Cool promo videos, the bands are sending that out across the board, they're customizing things for each city they're hitting. And then when it comes to festivals, we get to have a really close relationship with those artists and ask them to send us stuff, working with artist management to, hey, this is our idea, can you help us shoot this really fast, kind of thing. And then on-site, our
Yeah.
entire team works to make cool artist portraits on-site at festivals and all of that. So artists can be really open to helping, and especially they're always really open to creativity. That's
Yes.
a huge thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
Did you have one as well?
Yes, I do. Okay, so why do you guys like your job? Like, what drives you to love your job and continue to do it every day?
Yeah. When I see somebody posted on Instagram of a really sick live photo, and they're like, I just saw my favorite band, that kind of shit, that's like my favorite. That will like fuel me for like a week or two. Like, just because I was that kid, I was driving 4 hours to see someone in Atlanta, and it would make it for me. So being able to see that we affect people's happiness, that's a huge thing, and community too. And also when you see the newsletter and how much money you've made, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I would say the same thing as Brett, just going, loving who you work with, and no, it's not normal to be able to go into the office and feel like you're actually not working, but it's a thing at AC and it's amazing.
It's a problem.
So that first and foremost makes it so easy, but everyone that we work with has one passion, and that is first and foremost making people happy, and second of all, music to some extent. Not everyone is into music as other people, but together working towards one common goal, and it's like magic.
It
sounds
truly
stupid and cliche,
is.
but it really is.
It's so funny because I work really closely with the biggest Deadhead, and I didn't know anything about the Grateful Dead when I lived in South Carolina, and it's
Yeah.
all they talk about. And then learning about big ears artists and people that are really passionate about the most abstract, crazy, like avant-garde jazz. It's so cool, and you listen to music like normal before you get into AC Entertainment World, and then you get open to appreciating people's talent, and that it could not be your deal. And that's the thing, we work for a really wide variety of shows, and people that are Big Ears fans aren't gonna be Moon River Festival fans. That's just not how it's gonna work. But the enthusiasm is equal across the board, and people's wanting to listen and wanting to love music, that's the same. That feeling is the same. So that's like,
And as Rhett said, like, it's not the same audiences, so it's constantly fresh. You're not just constantly marketing to the same audience. Like, I can't talk to a Big Ears
Yeah.
person like I can talk to a Moon River, like she said. And for each one, we're creating that community in it. Like, we know exactly
yeah.
what each festival audience wants, and we're giving them the on-site experiences that they want, and the artists that they want, and the
Yeah.
content that they want. It's not like I'm just churning and burning
yeah.
the same
And if
stuff
you're
every
curious
day.
about social media at all, literally go look at the Big Ears Festival Facebook page in that voice,
Mhm.
and and then look at the Moon River Facebook page and that voice.
Yeah.
It is a difference of like 12 paragraphs talking about an artist in like 3 sentences with a bunch of emojis and like excitement. So like you'll see the voice, and that's a huge fun thing for us is we're creating that voice. And that's what Luna's really great at, and that's what we look for so much with you guys that also love music and that showcase that you love writing about music and are open to writing about all kinds of music. That's the huge part for an internship at AC. It's being that flexible and being open to music across the board, not just being, because when I moved here, I hated country music. I don't listen to my dad's music, and now, whatever, dude. I'm down.
And Luna, of course, you worked at WTK and now at AC Entertainment. What's your passion? What's driving you? What are you finding out that, this is what I love. I got to work 16-hour day tomorrow, but I'll be right back in the office at 8 a.m. the next day because I love this. What's pushing your buttons?
I mean, yeah, schedule is crazy.
It is wild.
But I really like just the passion behind people who create, like whether it be music or paintings or maybe like sculpture. I like talking to people who are enthusiastic about what they do. It could be a guy who just likes to pogo. And, like seeing people, like my culture is just spending time on the internet. We all live on the internet. I mean, sure, we're here in person, but what are we gonna do as soon as we get out of here? We're gonna hop on our phones. And that has been my entire life, and that's how people kind of share what they do, and I love like just looking at that, sharing it, feeling like you're part of something bigger, and that's a big part of social media.
Is that a community?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. There are 2 things about this business, and I'll lend this expertise to you as well, that you need to know now about the concert promotion and production business. You don't get free tickets to shows, or festivals. You really don't. And it is not a 9 to 5 Monday, Friday job at all. Not at all. I mean, when I was there, I was marketing and repping shows. So, I mean, I would literally drive to Durham and have to be back the next morning, by a decent hour to put ad orders in. And you just got to do what you got to do to make it work, Now, luckily, they have 50 plus employees, so it's a little easier, but of course, they've grown to that point too. So, well, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned audience research or analysis, audience analysis. What is important to you all from a social media aspect to be able to look at and make decisions to move forward on what you do next? Or, the show is just not selling. Well, let's go look at this analysis and let's see, let's try to figure out maybe with these numbers what we can do next, because that's a huge part of the whole social media thing, is the fact that you're able to get that, constant updated information and research on your audience. And you go ahead on that. What is so important and that you guys really, look at a lot as far as audience analysis?
I'll start with the festivals. As we've been talking about, building that community for each festival is so important. There are so many festivals out there now, and honestly, a lot of them are also all the same at this point. You've got to differentiate yourself to show them why they have to go. Like, something that I've learned about music festivals and just marketing in general is people only care about themselves. Like, they don't care about what this person's doing, what that person's doing. They want to go and they want to have a good experience that they can tell their friends about, and word of mouth marketing is it. It's what drives ticket sales. It's what gets people in. It's the new.
It's never going to change.
It's never going to change. Yeah, it's just how it is. So, building those communities for each festival, we have like little Facebook groups that we are really engaged with, that we talk to day to day. We host like on-site meetups and stuff like that. What else? Just building community, I think, is so important, and urgency messaging is so crucial. For Bonnaroo, for example, we're always saying something about the next ticket tier or pushing the payment plan, which is super cheap. We're always thinking about the easiest mode of entry to our festivals and why you have to be there and why you have to go, and how your life just will not be the same if you don't go. So all that's really important. I know a lot with the venues too, like with Red, she can take it, but just seeing her work on the Tennessee Theater, this beautiful venue that it's crazy that it's in Knoxville, Tennessee, as she was saying. But she, on her Instagram, if you just scroll through it, it's the most beautiful photos of this venue that you just have to see. And same with the Mill and Mine, like a brand new room. She started the socials from scratch herself, and it's blown up to be this amazing thing. So just captivating that audience.
That's what I would
that way.
say. Like she said, community, the same thing when it comes to venues. It's still, yeah, you're online, but it's also Knoxville. So it's a sense of, like when we launched the Mill in Mind, it's not just coming from AC Entertainment, it's coming from Rala being like, look who's coming in next door. When a show's suffering, it's like pretentious beer company being like, yo, this show's gonna be amazing, like enter to win this here. Like it's engaging with our friends in the community and creating FOMO, like 100%.
Yeah,
It's,
100%.
I don't wanna miss this. I kinda like this band, I wanna check it out. It's that kind of thing. It's being in it, being like, I can't miss this. Yeah, absolutely.
So they couldn't live another day of their life without that concert ticket, basically,
Yeah.
or without that festival wristband, or basically something like that. What, I mean, is there a specific number or a specific, report or printout or whatever from your analysis that you look at, or is it, do you really spend a lot of time doing that? I mean, is it?
It's a fun game for me because I chase likes and I chase follows. That's what, as an organic person, I'm 100% focused on just getting followers, because from there, Emily or someone on the digital side can chase and mask that audience. So we're constantly just getting likes. So you'll see that with my fun hint when it comes to socials. You find out that one thing that your audience really likes, and then sprinkle that throughout all your messaging pretty much. So like the Tennessee Theater, no matter how much you're trying to sell tickets to a show, the only thing that anyone that follows Knoxville Tennessee Theater is that marquee on the road. It will get, that Tennessee Theater marquee will get 20 million thousand times more likes than anything I will ever post about an artist. Even like Willie Nelson's coming to town, you would think everyone's freaking out. Nope, that marquee photo is gonna get more likes. And it is really frustrating, but it's awesome that you know the trick, you know the tool to keep people, and to also keep that algorithm going. So it's a thing like, I'm gonna post this really pretty photo, and then everyone's gonna like it, and then I'm gonna post an important thing the next day, and that's gonna be in everyone's feed that, in theory, liked it.
And it does like work so much with the paid side. Like Brett can do, she's not gonna necessarily post about Willie Nelson. I mean, she will, but not necessarily on Instagram. It's gonna be those marquee photos, and if someone likes that, then I can retarget those people that like that through paid digital. So it's not a wasted cause not to market individual shows, because there's still a way to get in front of those people. It might not just be exactly as point A to point B as you would think.
Yeah, you'll see it, if you follow the Tennessee Theater, you are gonna just see pretty photos. I'm not gonna advertise to you, because Emily or whoever is gonna come right back behind, and when you're scrolling through your Insta story, one of our ads is gonna come up, and that's gonna be the ad that hits you, that you can swipe up and do whatever. But it's all about chasing those likes and that engagement, that community that I'm building, and then following up around that with, come see us.
Yeah.
With a show that's catered to you specifically because of all the data that we have.
Yeah.
I would imagine being in concert promotion and being the social media folks as part of AC Entertainment, being a business or an industry that thrives so much on audio and video. I mean, your material is there for you. You've got footage of live shows. You've got audio. Band just dropped a new single. How do you guys do? I mean, is that something you really lean on? It makes your job easier, I guess, doesn't it?
You wanna go for it?
Okay.
That's you.
Content, I was talking to my boss about this morning, because we were going to do content type of for our festivals. It's the most important thing that we do. Hands down, no question. If we need to spend money, we need to spend it on content, because we have to market to these people with these photos and with these awesome videos or whatever for the next year. It is the most important thing.
When you talk about spend money on it, you're talking about
Lock and
pushing
key.
it out there.
Yes, but also getting lock and key to shoot all our video, paying our
Paying
rad
for
photographers to
yeah.
shoot for travel, like air, food, expenses, whatever. Just building a really, really solid team to tell the story of our festivals and of our events.
Anybody got any questions? So far, so good. Rolling. Be thinking, yes, sir. You in front again.
Yeah. So, so you talked a lot about how you communicate to your audience and creating that community. And then how do you engage with them? I mean, how do you respond to them? I'm trying to picture, somebody sends a photo from a concert, and is there like a meeting of 4 of you deciding whether to retweet it or like it, or how does that all work?
That's me following every Mill and Mine show. I'm on my computer monitoring every tweet, every photo. Hopefully I'm liking if I'm on my best behavior. Everything, but sometimes I'm doing other things. But yeah, it's liking, it's talking. The fun thing that just happened was the Tennessee Theater's 90th anniversary, and it was lots of people sharing stories of their first date with their husband was at the Tennessee Theater, and that was the fun thing. We actually just started a podcast, and just interviewing people that have been a part of the story, but also that we've been part of their story. So that's the fun thing with the building the community, is trying to connect. And I mean, obviously look at the Mill and Mine socials. I'm constantly sharing other people's photos of people across the board. So it's all about sharing and appreciating, and hopefully getting other photographers more likes and all that. So
Yeah.
share and post. Hashtag
Yeah.
TNV.
There you go.
Hashtag no trucks.
Yeah. In terms of the festivals, as Brett was saying, just building, people get so excited when you repost their stuff or like their stuff. So I know on the paid side for me, Bonnaroo, we've done so many case analysis studies on it, and people come there for the community. They come there for for the friendships. They don't. People are there for the music, obviously, but as I was saying before, there's so many music festivals now that just saying your lineup is not going to sell your ticket anymore. It's going to be that community that you can dance. Yeah, you can dance all night long. You can eat an amazing piece of pizza, and then you can go hang out with your friends, and then you can come back, and the music doesn't stop until 4 a.m. That's what sells the experience.
Yeah.
So people will write reviews for Bonnaroo online, and I'll just take a snippet of their quote, and I'll put that in a paid ad to show people why they can't miss it, and why they have to come, and why they're going to experience the best thing of their life. And then also for festivals, example, Moon River, we started a Facebook group, like I was saying, and we started noticing that a lot of people were coming by themselves, so we started a Moon River solo group to where people can connect with people in real life, of people that are going to Moon River, and it's cultivated these friendships that are still a thing. We do Artist Curated Festival, Moon River, with Drew Holcomb. He's an artist, and he's gotten really into it as well. So just, again, fostering that community and connecting with people in real life and digitally.
Yeah.
So important to the marketing mix.
I'm gonna come back and touch on that community thing here in a minute, but I wanna talk to Luna again. All right, Luna, so a couple questions to ask you, being the intern here. Number one, what's been your toughest assignment or task so far? And number two, when they hand you that assignment or that task, writing copy, I guess, for a new show, getting ready to drop at the Bijou, where do you get your information? Where do you pull it from? Where do you start to put an effective piece of copy together for social media?
Okay. Well, the hardest thing that I've been assigned probably was helping Corey find people to reach out or to for boosting information about getting people to come to Dr. Dog. So doing research of my own just on what are their different venues or different activities that people generally go to who are the type of people who listen to Dr. Dog. That was a lot of
In a city that you're not familiar with.
in a city that I don't live in and have been to probably twice for a total of 15 minutes.
Where was it?
In Nashville. I don't spend a lot of time in Nashville, but it was a lot of finding the underground kind of blogs about cool things that go on that aren't just going to be on the main top 10 things to do while in Nashville.
Not on Yelp, yeah.
Yeah, finding those things, finding those places was pretty hard, but I've gotten good at kind of Googling for the information that not only that I want, but that I need. So just really being specific about what you're typing into the search bar. Skipping past the first 2 or 3 pages of Google,
Nice.
which I generally, in any other case, would not go that far. But that was really difficult. And then for writing social copy, it's a lot of going to each of the venues pages. And they usually pull the bios and things from the artist pages. I go to each of the artists' Twitters, see what kind of things that they post about, like their newest music videos, if it's an artist I'm not familiar with, going through a lot of different social venues, checking out Facebook groups written about that artist, finding really cool quotes from concert reviews that were recent and stuff like that. It's generally how I do that, and then also just doing my own research of, okay, what are the type of posts that work well for the bijou? Like, do I need to use a lot of emojis? Do they use a lot of hashtags? And then kind of cultivating my own kind of tweet with, like, engaging in that type of community where people will actually read it and look at it and actually engage with it.
Which social media do you work on the most, you think? Or do you use it across the board, from Twitter to Facebook to Instagram?
It's kind of across the board, but the venue I feel like I do the most is probably the bijou or Tennessee Theater. It's probably those are the big two that I usually work on, and the Signal. Yeah.
Signal in Chattanooga, which is basically the Mill and Mine in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
What is the most, what do you all find or see, and I'm sure it kind of varies, but what is the most used or maybe most effective platform? You know, I know when you bring up your website, you have Facebook, obviously website, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify. Y'all, which Spotify is huge, you know, for AC Entertainment, what a great resource there.
Yeah.
What do you all seem to get the most traction with for as far as those different platforms?
It varies per demographic. I would say when it comes to the Tennessee Theater audience, which is 45 to 65-year-old women, which is my go-to, that's my best. They are Facebook all the way, Facebook events, totally. And then, I'm not even, what's successful at festivals?
Yeah.
Instagram is definitely.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Younger crowd, do you think?
Yeah, that's where it's up and coming. But I mean, for big ears, it's Facebook, so it is definitely per outlet. But
Yeah, that's what I actually kind of wanted to survey y'all, if I can get some engagement. So,
Right, talk about that.
can you raise your hand if you think you use Facebook more?
If what?
More than Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, yeah. Reddit, what will you? So Facebook the most. Who uses Twitter the most? Who uses Instagram the most? Who uses Reddit the most? Me too. Fun fact, okay. So when it comes to music fans in the room, raise your hand if you use Spotify. Keep your hand up if you pay for Spotify.
I like this.
That's it.
Okay, so raise your hand, you can put your hands down. Raise your hand if you use anything else. If you, instead of Spotify, what Apple Music people are in the crowd? Just us, great. I love Apple Music, I pay for it. Who uses to SoundCloud? Sometimes, okay. Sometimes is a sometimes. Is there anything else you need to know?
Bandcamp, anyone?
Bandcamp?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, emojis out there, I like it.
Let me think. Do you like Facebook events? Who actually uses them? Will you raise your hand who actually uses Facebook events? Is it annoying if I post a ton in a Facebook event?
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm sorry. Well, that's me.
Research real fast.
Okay.
Are you guys pretty proactive on those Facebook events of saying you're interested or you are gonna go, you will do
So
it?
just keep it in the back of your mind. You won't
Yeah.
forget if you do it.
How all do you all find out about concerts and events and stuff you're interested in most?
If you gotta do a hands up situation,
Yeah, hands
or
up.
yes or no.
Well, hold your hand up.
Yeah.
Like every so often, I'll just like look on, I'll just like Google like concerts in the area, like Asheville, and Nashville.
So is that like you're going to, so you're going to like a landing page of like an event calendar almost, so it's a variation of
Yeah,
different
just like
things.
try to stay up to date.
Tight, you?
I know that like Facebook events just rolled out kind of like their their like location services and stuff, so I'll go on there and see like what's around Knoxville and happening there.
Right
Cool.
on, cool.
I get an email, we live in Chicago, and I sign up for a local band email,
Okay,
so I get
yeah,
that once
yeah.
a week.
Okay, you?
Oh,
For me, if a band puts out a new album, I look to see if they're touring through the area.
Yes,
Right on.
go for it.
I go directly to the artist, so I follow a certain amount of artists like on Instagram, and that's what I'm
Yes.
usually on. So I don't usually see it on Ticketmaster or any other advertising. I'll just say, like, I'll see the artist make a post, I'm touring, and then I look for Nashville, Atlanta,
So the
Knoxville.
fun thing with that is we can advertise based on who you like and who you follow. So that's a fun way that we get to capture you, like if you're following artists. So it's beneficial. What's up?
I also follow like venues that I like going to.
There we go.
Thank you.
The answer.
Listen. Listen.
Yeah.
I use bands in town.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Quick,
stuff.
quick survey.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that community thing, because it's, music and community literally do go hand in hand. I mean, music is so many different communities, and it's a cross-section of communities as well. And I think if you go to certain concerts, or especially festivals, that's exactly what you see. One of the things that Bonnaroo, I think, is just way out in front, is on-site social media by attendees. Talk a little about that and your all's, what you want it to do. Does it accomplish it, and can it just go freaking haywire? Can it go nuts when
Some
you got
wild stuff on
Yeah, I'm
Bonnaroo, which I'm
sure.
sure you've seen.
And who's the lifeguard at the pool?
But yeah, it is so important, like we were saying, just to stay in touch with your community and know what they like.
The Bonnaroo is awesome because they've set up a customer service where you can just tweet at a certain handle that's not even social media team. There's literally
Yeah.
a customer service team that you can just tweet at and they'll respond to you. There's somebody pretty much there 24/7 monitoring those accounts.
So that's customer service on
Absolutely.
site, as opposed to just, my face just got melted by Primus, or, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, we definitely play up those like emotionally charged posts. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what's gonna sell the ticket. is
And
people
honestly,
showing-
that's the stuff that you screenshot and you put on Reddit and it goes viral.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh, yeah.
and that's a big part. Bonnaroo it's not just what I do. Bonnaroo, they focus a ton on Reddit as well because that's the true community of Bonnaroo people is
Yeah.
thriving right there.
I remember when I first started, I thought it was so crazy that we didn't really post that much about the specific bands playing at Bonnaroo on Facebook. If you look at Bonnaroo's Facebook, there'll be some thrown in for like, latest artist news, but mostly it's selling the experience all day long. It's
Yeah.
talking about how it's the only festival in the country, or one of, like
Mhm.
one of 2 or 3 that you can have music literally all night long.
Yeah.
You can't go to Lollapalooza and do that because sound ordinances. You can't go to somewhere else and do that for the same reason. So, again, just playing with that experience and
Yeah, so on site, we have a huge team at Bonnaroo constantly taking photos, constantly editing and throwing them in a feed. And then it's a team of like 8 and under people looking at that feed and seeing what's valuable, what's amazing that really captures the experience.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like we said, it's not just crazy band, Chance the Rapper doing a split on stage. It's also a bunch of friends smiling and like screaming on a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
It's going down the water slide and a video of that in slow motion. Like
I will
it's-
tell you guys that I write digital copy for all of Bonnaroo's ads, and without a doubt, the post that will sell the most tickets is a picture of a piece of pizza and someone eating it at Bonnaroo, because spicy pie is such a thing that's ingrained into that festival that it will sell tickets. Like I could put something out there about Cardi B. Doesn't matter. Piece of pizza will sell the tickets. You just have to know how to market to your audience and what's special about each specific event.
And that's
same
the-
for
yeah.
same for venues.
And that's the important thing of learning now, look and read your audience, do the analytics, because it's valuable, because you could spend all day trying to push that Cardi B and whoever is gonna be there, but.
Yeah, and it sells tickets for sure. We definitely don't want to undermine the artist and say that they don't.
He's great.
Yeah, I mean,
We love
we
Cardi B.
will boost her stuff and we'll get ticket sales out of it too. But again, just knowing, I think that's how we set ourselves apart, is knowing our audience and catering to them so much, and knowing that.
And that's the big thing on site too. Our photographers aren't just trying to, that's why we push experience so hard. Because it's
Yeah.
not just about the artists, it's about using those experience photos throughout her next year of campaign, of advertising campaigns. It's those photos that are valuable all year round.
Yeah.
Santa, Snake and Jake's Christmas party, you got whole December covered if you just take a lot of photos there.
Do you often get artists asking you to use those photos as well, or?
Man, at big ears, every artist wants their photos.
We have-
Every
yeah.
artist, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if they're amazing. Some of our photographers are truly amazing, and their stuff is used throughout the year.
Yeah.
Brandy Carlisle posts chorus photos all the time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And our photographers are developing relationships with
Yeah, with artists.
these people.
great.
So
For sure.
yeah.
What about communicating to festival attendees during the festival? I mean, obviously it's something you're able to do, and
We have
for
an
better or
app.
worse, have to sometimes. Talk a little bit about that experience, because again, that's the community.
That's the
I mean-
fun thing is we have an app at most of our
There you go.
festivals, and
Yeah.
we're sending direct messages to people. So we've had a couple of situations where we've had weather meltdowns
Yeah.
and having to alert people, you need to seek shelter right now kind of thing. Like at Bonnaroo, at Bonnaroo, if there's lightning in the area, everything
Shut your
goes
cars,
dead. Everything
yeah.
has to go dead. Everyone has to turn off their electricity kind of thing and seek shelter, go back to your camp kind of thing.
It's,
So
yeah.
So you see a good user rate for those apps at your coastal?
absolutely, I would say so. And the fun thing too is you get
Secret show announcements, things like that?
There you go,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly, especially at Bonnaroo. There's so many secret shows in the campgrounds and all the cool little things. So
And using social media is so important, I will say, for Bonnaroo, because it is, I think it's like the 4th largest city for the weekend in
Mhm.
Tennessee when Bonnaroo happens.
Yeah.
So you're not just like telling a few people if there's an emergency, like you have to tell people now, it is a liability issue. You've got to get people safe and keep our fans happy and safe all at the same
Yeah.
time. So push notifications, Twitter, really quick.
So although with
forms.
that many people, it's terrible cell service,
Yeah.
but keep
Gotten
charging,
better.
keep charging
Yeah.
your phone because it's a safety
I
precaution.
mean, that's an aspect, obviously, we came into this thing talking more promotions, but that's an aspect of social media that is even more important, I would assume, than promotions. And again, that's that client,
That's it.
relationship that
That's
you're
what-
building there.
It's all customer service, that's all you trusting us, you're following us for a good reason, be it a pre-sale code, be it a safety alert.
Yeah,
It's
very cool.
important.
Do you all target people that like go to other festivals that aren't with AC? Like, I went to ACL and I just didn't know if like y'all like sent out ads, like sponsored ads to this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And they do too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So we're owned by Live Nation, and there's like AC Entertainment, and then the venues obviously, and then another company called C3 that does Lollapalooza ACL. They're based out of Austin, and I work really closely with their team too. But it's very much we can't dance around these people, and they can't dance around us. So we are very much trying to get our experience out in front of you. But yeah, just part of the thing. Yeah.
You grab a mic.
Are y'all, like, what emerging kind of technologies, platforms are y'all kind of looking at now, looking into, you know, especially with data and getting that new data, like, what are the kind of the new and improved things that y'all are looking at when promoting these or data analysis?
You got any fun things y'all are working on that you
Gosh.
can talk about?
In terms of new things, we outsource our digital marketing to a company in Canada. They do pretty much all of Live Nation's festivals, and they're constantly bringing new and improved ways that we can get out in front of people. They have a direct line into Facebook, into Twitter, into Instagram, into Reddit, into everything. So they're kind of our source for that on the paid side. And then organically, I mean, I know we have like one of our colleagues does data and is constantly letting us know like open rates and demographics, and you're always ingrained in those. So
Yeah.
I don't know of like specific technology, but
I don't know if specific technology for me, it's getting better and it's testing and it's being more aggressive and thoughtful with testing, especially A/B testing newsletters. Subject lines is a really fun thing that we've been working on. And also just talking to our interns about what's cool and interesting and for them to give us advice. Next intern, I want somebody to tell me how to use TikTok. You're like, I got you. How I can use it in a business sense, I guess. But yeah, so, yeah, always open to trying new things and trying to have fun with our audience.
You got to, especially in this industry. I mean, my gosh, you
yeah.
got to. Yes, sir?
Maybe this goes in the dumb question category, but Emily, could you explain what's the distinction you're making between the paid side and organic side? I'm not sure I fully understand that.
yeah, so if you go to the Tennessee Theater's Facebook page, for example, and you'll see all of Brett's work, which is just social media posts all day long. It's what you think of when you think of social media. Whereas my side, I am putting money behind those posts or on the back end of Facebook where it's gonna show up regardless of the algorithm because I'm paying to put it in front of you.
So when you're scrolling through your feed, there's gonna be a post that's sponsored,
Yeah.
it's really small sponsored, and it's gonna look like my post probably a little better, and.
But it targeted.
But it's
targeted,
targeted,
yeah.
and it's targeted for you. You're gonna get something different than what Luna's gonna get.
Yeah, like as she was saying, she went to ACL, but she'll get, ads for Bonnaroo or something. Regardless if she follows Bonnaroo or not, we know that she's interested in music festivals, so we're gonna target her and we're gonna put money behind that post to get it in front of her.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's probably from those free posts that you get a lot of the research to base the paid posts on, I would assume. So
Yeah.
it all works together, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
We got about 5 minutes. What I would like to do with these last few minutes, again, since you guys are, hopefully you're on a fact-finding mission, but about to start your career and the rest of your lives, tell us a little bit about, and we'll go left to right, all the way over. What do these guys need to be doing right now? What do they need to be doing to obviously work at college radio, as we've done, but, what do they need to be doing to kind of look to land the kind of jobs that you guys are doing now?
Okay, so when I was your age, I interned one summer at 2 places. I interned at Merge Records in North Carolina and Ground Control Touring in North Carolina. I also, when I came back to school, I interned for a year or 2 at a proper advertising agency. And I was like you guys. I was constantly I was trying to be valuable. I was getting my tasks done, and can I help you with more? And that's the big thing that I look for. I look to make sure your track record is you're hungry, like you want this, and you want to be in this world, and then that you are thoughtful and communicative constantly. And it's all about, we're really flexible, we're a great business, but it's all about talking to us, communicating, and and wanting it.
Yeah, not communicating
Oh,
here.
you can text me, that's fine, too, that's
Here.
communicating.
Yeah.
That's fine. But, yeah, that's what, I would say, get out there and get experience, cause I know I got hired out of college, cause I knew how to build websites, cause I knew how to do WordPress, which is the easiest thing. It's making yourself valuable to people that are older than you and don't know all the hip, cool things that you guys know. You guys grew up in a generation completely digitally, and there are CEOs that don't know a lick that you know, and that you just have to show your value and be proud. Don't try to be humble. You gotta brag about yourself, because you're probably really great if you're involved with WTK, or UT. So, yeah.
And Lenny, you've not started your career per se, but tell us what's, what you've learned up to this point, what's been so valuable to you that some of these folks need to be trying.
Well, I'm about to graduate, but I've done a internship every year since I started college. It's important that you keep contact with those people that you've internshiped with, whether you really liked it there or not. I just got a text the other day from a guy I worked with at the Johnson City Press asking, hey, when are you gonna graduate? Cause I wanna give you a job. So it's really important to keep those up, but also talk to your professors. They know a lot more than you probably will for a little bit. And they know, okay, well, I know this guy, and he's looking for so-and-so to do whatever. If you're interested in that, then you can get to go for it, and a person who has a direct line of contact with that person. Benny knows so many people. It's amazing. And I wouldn't be here at AC if I didn't know Benny, and if I didn't talk to Benny about my interests and what I wanted to do. So that's really important. And also have a website that looks nice, and have your portfolio, all your work on there. No matter what you do, there's a way to integrate that into a website.
Well, Luna said right there real quick, I will capitalize, is that, it's about developing a network of people that know you or that you have come to know, because those are the people that are gonna get you that job or introduce you to somebody, and that's one of the most valuable things that we work hard at doing at WTK, is putting students inside that network of decision makers who could be writing your first paycheck. You got to get to know these folks. Last but not least.
I agree with everything that they said all day. Also, something that I found very, very frustrating when I was a student is internships. They're hard to get, and there's a lot of people that want them, and you might not get the exact one that you want at first, but don't give up and keep trying. Especially for the music industry, if you can't get an internship or lock one down, volunteer to put up posters. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna get your name out there. It's gonna get people in front of you. It's gonna get you in front of us. We've hired so many people that started hiring. We've hired so many people that have started out by putting up posters for us. So it might, as I said, it's gonna suck. You're not gonna get paid, most likely, sometimes for the work that you do, but it's getting out in front of those people. It's making the connections, and that's what's
Like Benny said, 100% building relationship.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you one person in the marketing department that doesn't know Marie, because she was outgoing and she was talkative. I've had plenty of interns that sat at the computer, did a great job, and was really efficient, but didn't build those relationships. Marie could walk around and talk music to anybody, and that's that's special.
And she did, and so we remember her and we love her, and that's why.
Aww.
Yeah.
And that's not just one day we're gonna have a job opening and think of Marie. That's somebody that we're talking to constantly and buying from, and in the entire music world, like, we can give a recommendation, and AC Entertainment is a valuable name. So we support ours 100%, and so I would just
reach out to us.
When
Don't
you're
be shy.
yeah, but also when you're an intern, don't just bottle up and be shy. Because I know I was that intern, and I have a lot of regret not being as academic as Marie or Luna. So
And if you think Marie knows music, you ought to see her with a hula hoop. And she will tell you, as will I, you all need to go buy tickets to see Spafford at the Bijou Theater.
There you go.
That's,
Yes, tomorrow night.
There you
It's
go.
gonna be so fun.
And her birthday week party, so there you
Yes, it is my
go.
birthday
So,
party.
cool. If you guys will, please put your hands together. Emily Lorenzo, Luna Brewer, Brett Tyler. Great job. Thank you guys for showing up. There are some donuts back there by chance. Duck donuts, by the way. And I'm sure if anybody wanted to shake and howdy with these folks before they leave, they'll have a few minutes as well. So.
that was fun.
That was very good. I was thinking if you kept getting sick,